And welcome back downstairs. We're back in the driving simulator today for another episode in the driving simulator. Currently, once again, on my way to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for not one, but two really awesome things. Today is Thursday, the 16th of October, 2025, and I'm going to see Damon concert. Oh my god, I can't even say it without freaking out. I'm so excited. I only have an hour and a half left on my drive. Usually when I record podcasts during my driving simulation drives, I'll record within the first, 2, maybe 3 hours, 6-7 hours. Sorry, I'll stop because there were people in the comments on my last episode, which was 2 weeks ago, by the way. We didn't post an episode last week. Technically this week for me now, but it'll be next week by the time you're seeing this. Or 2 weeks ago, whatever. Last week. We didn't post an episode this past week. 2 weeks ago, my episode was titled 6-7. I made a couple jokes. Sorry guys, the crowd didn't like it. Kind of got some crickets. Hopefully some of you liked it. The lurkers that don't comment. The lurkers and the creepers and crawlers that don't comment on my videos. I hope you liked it. Maybe you liked it enough to not comment any hate, so I'll take it. We're done with the 6-7 jokes, I guess. Probably not. I'll actually probably still make them, but sorry. Just sorry in advance. I know some of you think it's not funny. I used to think it was not funny, so I get it. And then actually, it makes your life a whole lot better if you just, decide to understand it and accept it and think it's funny. Just saying. If you stop being such a hater, your life actually gets a lot easier. It's crazy. Anyways, what was I talking about? I said 6-7 because before that I said 3 or 4, or I said 4 or 5. I don't remember what I was talking about. Anyways, I'm going to see Zach Top today. And I am going to... I was talking about I start recording in the first, little bit of my drive, but I only have an hour and a half left. A little less than an hour and a half. And, I wanted to record a podcast episode so that I can get one uploaded this coming Monday, since I didn't upload one this past week. And where was I going with that? Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, for the 3rd or 4th time, or the 6th or 7th time, I don't know, I am driving to Tuscaloosa to go to a Zach Top concert tonight. Zach Top concert is actually in Brandon, Mississippi, but it's I think it was 7 hours from where I live, maybe 8, maybe 9. It was between 7 and 9 hours. Sorry, I'll stop. It was between 7 and 9 hours from where I live, and it's only 2 hours from Tuscaloosa, 2.5 maybe. And one of my friends that lives in Tuscaloosa is going with me, so I'm going there to meet with her first, and then we're driving together to Brandon. So today, it's going to be a lot of driving for me. Unfortunately, over 10 hours of driving for me today. But that's fine, because I'm gonna see Zach Top. I'm going to see Zach Top. If you watch this podcast, you know how freaking crazy this is and how important this is in my plot line, in my character development, because I would say recently, because it was in the last year that I discovered my absolute love for Zach Top and his music. And ever since then, I have been obsessed. It feels like almost my Billy obsession. My Billy obsession started when I was probably 16 or 17. That's not even a joke, y'all. That's for real. Sorry, I'll stop. I was probably 16 or 17 when my Billy addiction started. I know I was 16 when I actually started listening to her music, so it was probably 16. And I remember how it just slowly grew. I listened to an album. I really liked the music. I started watching interviews of her, yada, yada, yada. Realized I really liked her personality and just really enjoyed her as a person. Bada boom, bada bang, bada bing, bada boom. Billy. Obsession. Me. And then now, within this last year, I heard I Never Lie, which is one of Zach Top's most popular songs. I'd say it's probably what kind of put him on the map in the last year for a lot of people. Especially, I mean, for me, that was the first song I ever heard by him, and I loved it. And listened to the album, loved it. Still to this day, Cold Beer and Country Music is my favorite country music album ever. Maybe a controversial opinion, a hot take for the country lovers here, because he's still a pretty new country singer, relatively speaking, compared to like Alan Jackson, George Strait. I mean, the classics go back to David Allan Coe and stuff. I still love all of their music. There's some really great George Strait songs, really great Alan Jackson. Brad Paisley has some really good hits. David Allan Coe. I can't say I'm super into like Zach Bryan, Luke Bryan. I definitely don't like Morgan Wallen. I don't know anything about them as people, except for Zach Bryan. I think has some controversy around him, but their music just doesn't hit for me like George Strait, Alan Jackson, Zach Top. A lot of people say that Zach Top is bringing back like classic country music from like before the 2000s, pre-2000s country music. And I feel like that shows even just through me as an example, because I really enjoy, again, George Strait, Alan Jackson, David Allan Coe, and Zach Top is my absolute favorite. So I don't remember where I was going with that. Once again, lots of jibber jabber and no point to get to. I made a few points there. I made some good points. That's fine. But yeah, I'm seeing him tonight. If you've watched my podcast, you know how big of a deal this is for me. Oh, I was talking about my obsession growing with him. Sometimes I just need to like take a few steps back. Take a few steps backward to try to remember where I was going with things. And that's what I just did there. So just give me a little leeway here to figure my stuff out. Also, I'm so sorry if the camera is like shaking violently. Shiver me timbers off camera right now, because that was a miss. Sorry. I don't know. That was a total miss. Straight air ball. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry if the camera's shaking violently. I don't know if iPhone is going to stabilize it for me, but it is currently shaking violently because it's sitting on a MagSafe mount, phone vent mount thing. I should hold the steering wheel in this driving simulation. I really should. I was using my knee for the last 10 minutes, just by the way, because I've been doing this, and then I'm holding the microphone with my other hand. I'm using my knee. Sorry about the camera. I hope iPhone stabilizes it for me, because they've been doing that in videos recently. Their like whole thing is that you take a video with your phone and use the camera app, obviously, and then it'll like auto stabilize it for you. So please do that for me, iPhone. I would really appreciate it. And I've lost where I am again, so let's take a few steps back. My growing obsession with Zach Top kind of felt like my Billy obsession. I've just really grown to like him. I listened to that first album, really, really liked it, really hit for me. Started watching some interviews, followed him on social media, blah, blah, blah. Here we are. I think he is a really cool person. I think for a celebrity, which country music singers I've realized are very different from other celebrities. They kind of live a normal life and then will like go on tour once every few years or something and put out an album every few years and then like go live in middle of nowhere, to put it simply, middle of nowhere, Tennessee or Wyoming or Montana or whatever, and then like put out another album, play a few shows, go back to their life, tending to their horses and whatnot. And I think he is very much like that. I think because he's growing so fast, he kind of is a little different from what I just described, because he is doing a lot of things for the media and for, like, on camera, you know. I saw a video where he was on SNL, I think earlier this year or within the last year. After Cold Beer and Country Music was released, he was on SNL, performed a song on there. He's performed at a few other, like, maybe award shows or big, you know, like the big celebrity events. He's performed at some of those. So, I mean, he grew really fast. I Never Lie was such a big hit. It truly did put him on the map, and that whole album is just incredible. I wish the whole album got as much credit as I Never Lie gets, because I still, like, I just listened to it an hour ago, the whole album all the way through, and I still just, like, am baffled by how much I love it. My maps are behind again. Why do they do this? Oh, well, it's fine. I know where I'm going. They only do this when I'm recording. That was the stop sign. They only do this when I'm recording for some reason. Anyways, I really love his music in such a way that I cannot describe. That album, his new album is really good, and I'm still, like, it's growing on me, but I cannot say that I like it more than Cold Beer and Country Music. Cold Beer and Country Music is just unmatched for me. It is so, I don't know, I just love it so much. I need to listen to some more George Strait, and I feel like George Strait and, like, who else was I just thinking of? Brad Paisley are probably some of my other top favorite country artists. I also really like a few David Allan Coe songs. I don't know. But nobody comes. Tyler Childers, I will say, Tyler Childers, for a little bit before I discovered Zach Top, was my favorite. I still really, really like his music, but not as much as Zach Top. Like, not even close to as much as I like Zach Top's music. And Coulter Wall is also a really good one. I'm just not into the, like, super popular modern country music. That sounds so pygmy. I'm so sorry. But it's true. It is true. I think that the more classic approach to it is way better. That's all I have to talk about, by the way, right now. I don't really have anything planned to talk about at all, actually. Oh, I did say that I'm going to Tuscaloosa for two things. One is that concert, and two is for the Tennessee game this weekend, Tennessee, Alabama. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited, but also I don't have a ticket because they were $600 for Lower Bowl, and all of my friends are sitting in Lower Bowl, and I will not go to the game and sit in the Upper Bowl by myself. I would rather just pay $20 and get into a bar with one of my other friends who's also going to be in town and is going to be going to watch it at a bar because he doesn't want to pay for a ticket either. But I'm going to wait till day of. I'm going to wait till Saturday and cross my fingers and hope that prices drop to like $100, maybe $150. I think I would be cool with paying like $150, but I don't think I should pay anything over that. I cannot believe people were buying and selling them for $600. Selling them for $600 is crazy. Buying them for $600 is even crazier. The cheapest Lower Bowl tickets a week ago were $600 for the Alabama-Tennessee game. This game better be good, bro. This game better be good. We've been so good this season. I'm an Alabama fan, if you don't know. I graduated from there in May. And we have been pretty good this season. We had a rough start with FSU, I think it was our first game. Lost that. Ever since then, on top. We've been doing amazing. Beat Georgia, beat Vanderbilt last week. That was our redemption for last year. I'm feeling good about this weekend, but God forbid I literally drive into town And the one time I'm in town, we lose. I actually, a month or so ago, a few weeks, I think it was over a month ago. It was like mid-September. I drove into town for the Wisconsin game and ended up not getting a ticket. Well, I had a ticket, and then I sold it and didn't go because I was not well that day. But so I have yet to go to a game this year. But oh my gosh, if I literally buy a ticket and then I go to the Tennessee game and we get beat, like not even a close game and we get beat, could kind of get over it because I watched a good game. But then if we just get like blown out of the water and everyone leaves by like end of third quarter, oh my gosh, I would be so mad, especially if I spend like $150 on a ticket. But this is going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a really fun weekend. Zach Top and then Alabama-Tennessee game. Even if I don't get a ticket to the game, getting to be on campus and be around Alabama fans, which I haven't gotten to do recently because I moved to Florida. And unfortunately, everyone there is Florida State fans or Florida fans. They're different colleges, right? Florida State and Florida? Yeah. FSU and then Florida. Is it Florida University or University of Florida? The Gators? I don't know. I don't think we played them. I think we played FSU. See, I'm into football, college football. I don't really care for NFL. Maybe in the future I will. Don't really care for NFL. But I do like college football. And I think that just stems from me going to the University of Alabama because I did not care about it whatsoever before I went there. And then went there. Didn't care about it for the first 2 years. And then junior and senior year, I actually really got into it. Really started to enjoy going to the games. Doing all that with my friends. Watching games on TV with all my friends. All that. Blah, 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 whatnot. Look at this freaking tractor blocking the road. Why are tractors allowed to drive on the road? Look, he's going to be behind me. Oh, you can't see, I don't think. Yeah, because I passed him so dang fast. What was I saying? Oh. Yeah, I wasn't really into it. And then my last 2 years of college started really enjoying going to the games because I made a really good friend group with the rowing team. And went to all the games with them. Started really getting into football. I understand football. I feel like more than what is stereotypically expected of girls. I'm sounding pick-me again. I'm not trying to be pick-me. I'm just trying to tell you straight that I get football to a certain extent. I'm not super well versed in it. I don't know what the refs are doing when they do all their hand signals. Don't know what any of that means. My boyfriend and all the boys on the rowing team obviously could know what the refs' calls were by the hand movements that they do. I don't know any of that. I just listen, watch, hope we get a first down, hope we score. I understand a majority. I don't know if I would even say a majority because I don't know how much terminology there technically is, but I understand plenty enough terminology and plenty enough of the rules and how the game works to be able to watch and get into and enjoy a football game. I know pass interference, I know a sack when I see one. I know what people mean when they say that the quarterback got sacked or whatever they say. Sorry, guys. Chat, cut that. Wait. Sorry, chat. I had to cut that because I accidentally cursed. That is surprisingly, I think, the first time I have ever accidentally cursed in a video. Out of all the years I've been doing this, I think that is truly the first time I have ever accidentally cursed. So, round of applause for me for going 5 years strong, almost. Wow, it's almost been 5 years. I started my ASMR page December of 2021. No, it's almost been 4 years. Was it December of 2021? It was. Why did I think it had almost been 5 years? I've been thinking that for like months now. And now that I'm saying out loud December of 2021, I'm realizing it's almost been 4 years, not 5. Fine with me. I mean, I've been thinking that I had only made so much growth in 5 years, and now I'm realizing, oh, it's only been 4. I'm actually doing pretty decent. Okay, good. The microphone started recording. I had to make sure because I restarted it. Yeah. Honestly proud of myself for that. 4 years strong, almost. And I almost left it in just now. I almost was just like, screw it, I'll just leave it in. But then I was like, nah, we've been family friendly for 4 years. At the time I was thinking 5 years. We've been family friendly for this many years. We're gonna stick to it. We're gonna stick to it. What was I talking about before that? Oh, football. Like, I get it for the most part. It probably doesn't sound like I do, especially if you're a guy and you understand it to, you know, a pretty high extent. But I promise you, I understand it enough to watch and get into a game and enjoy a game, okay? And I think that's good enough for me. I don't need to understand all the ref hand movements. I don't need to understand all the fouls and play things and all the positions and blah, 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 whatever. I get it enough. I'm very excited for this game, though, and I really hope I get a ticket. But if not, it'll be okay. I have a friend that's going to be at a bar, and I will probably meet up with them. I honestly probably should just do that because I already told them that I would probably be doing that, and I think I'm the only person that they know that's going to possibly be doing that, and I don't want to make them go by themselves to the bar. Would that be a bad friend move? I feel like it would, so I think I might just, unless tickets are ridiculously cheap and we can both get a ticket, that would be awesome. Tailgating is so fun, though. If you have never been tailgating on a college campus, actually, I've never been tailgating on any campus except for Alabama's. So I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but if you've never been tailgating, you have got to do that. You have got to get into that. It is so much fun at Alabama. I will say, one thing that I hate about it, not necessarily hate, but I'm just like, I kind of wish it wasn't the norm. Oh, I definitely missed a turn because I added quite a few minutes to my ETA. One thing I will say that I'm not a huge fan of about it is that it is so reliant and centered around drinking. Now, as a college student, obviously, I did not mind that whatsoever, and I still don't, like, hate it, and I think it's fun in certain ways, but my thing about drinking is that I have never liked, even when I was in college, I have never liked day drinking in any setting for any reason. I have never enjoyed it, or casual drinking. If I drink, I'm drinking to get drunk, basically, which I didn't even do that often. I would do that when I would go out to the bars, and occasionally, like, if I was just hanging out with my friends at, like, one of our houses or apartments, then I would drink with them there. And I wouldn't even say drink to get drunk every time, because I would just drink to, like, get a buzz or tipsy. I'm 22, by the way, almost 23, so step back, YouTube. I promise this is legal. I just don't understand the, like, cracking open a beer for the taste of it. Cracking open an alcoholic beverage for the taste of it. Cracking open a can or a bottle of poison just to taste it. I feel like that is where you start to become an alcoholic, because what do you mean? You are drinking alcohol because you want to put alcohol in your system, and that's the only reason. Because you want to taste alcohol, and that's the only reason. That's the worst part about it, is actually drinking it. In my opinion. The worst part about alcohol is actually putting it into your system. And the only, like, kind of fun part is the effects. And then you have to deal with the after effects, which kind of ruin the whole thing and makes me never want to. Every time that I get hungover, I tell myself, no more. I am done. I am done. This is horrible. I never want to drink again. I'm never drinking again. And then guess what I do? And then guess what? I do it again. Every time. But back to my point, I've never really understood day drinking or casual drinking. Day drinking especially because, okay, ideal situation, 7:30 to 8 p.m., start drinking pregame with the friends at the house or apartment. Hour and a half, 2 hours later, maybe even 3 hours later, I'd say honestly ideal, 3 hours later, so 10:30, 11 range, go to the bar, hang out at the bar, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours if it's super fun, and then go back, chill with friends for another hour, eat some pizza or some good food, leftovers or something, and then go to bed. So all in all, from drinking to bed, you've got what? Pregame for 7:30 to 10:30, 3 hours, and then bar maybe 3 hours. Let's say bar 2 hours, because I'm not going to bed past like 2:33. So if I say I go to bed 2:33, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Y'all are lucky I didn't start at 6 there. I would have made a joke. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Okay, that's a lot more hours than I thought it was. All in all, you're getting 6 to 8 hours probably of time with alcohol in your system while you're conscious. But day drinking is the worst because if you start, let's say there's a football game at 2 p.m. Cool. We start hanging out, meet up at noon. Maybe 1. Let's just say 1. Start hanging out, meet up at 1. Start drinking. By 2:30 or 3 p.m., if I drank like I drink at night, I would be tipsy. So now it's 3 p.m. and I have 7 to 10 hours left in my day. I have to deal with alcohol for 7 to 10 more hours. Total 9 to 12 hours with alcohol in my system during the day. And guess what? If you don't keep drinking for the rest of the day, so if you're not drinking from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m., you start to feel those after effects. The fun part starts to wear off because if I drink from 1 to 4 p.m. and then stop, by 5, I have a headache. By 6, I'm sobered up. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, if you're, having a long night, which in football cases you usually are, especially if you win, you go to the game and then you go to the bar after, you're dealing with like 4 hours of hangover during the end of your day, when that should be the fun part. Ideal for a football game, go to the football game sober, maybe have 1 beer. Just for the sake of having a beer in your hand, which honestly is stupid, but like sometimes it just feels right. That usually ends up making me feel like garbage anyways, so I don't do that. But ideal, let's stick to ideal. I wouldn't have any drinks before or during the game. And then after the game, when we win, go to the bar. It's 6 or 7 p.m. And is this where I'm turning? I think it is. Yeah, it is. This map being behind thing is really throwing me off. What was I talking about? Sorry, what was I talking about? I said 6 or 7. I know that. That's all I can remember is me saying 6, 7. Sorry, guys. I'm such a loser. Why am I like 12 years old? Whatever. Ideal situation, I don't drink during the game. I drink after, go to the bar, have a good time, go to bed before I start feeling bad. Because there have been multiple occasions where I decided, you know what, I want to have a beer in my hand. That is honestly the only reason I ever decided in any situation that I would day drink. It was because my friends were drinking, and I didn't want to not have a beer in my hand and be drinking with them. I wanted to be a part of the fun. And every time I end up feeling like garbage by like 2 p.m. By like 2 to 4 p.m. I feel like absolute garbage. Just not worth it. And on top of that, at football games, especially in Alabama, you're sitting in the sun during the game, especially if it's like a 2 p.m. game or 11 a.m. game. God forbid. My friends, y'all, they were freaking lunatics. They would get up and start tailgating. Well, first of all, we were on the rowing team, so we would have practice at 5 a.m. every day. And then they would go straight to the quad and start tailgating at like 7 a.m. 7 or 8 a.m. They would start tailgating and drinking for if we had an 11 a.m. game. What are y'all on? What are y'all on that is making you able to freaking do that? Why are my directions like that? Hold on, I gotta go. Alright, sorry about that, gang. I had to fix my directions because they were behind once again, and actually they completely froze up, so I had no idea where I was going. But thankfully now, oh no, it's lagging. Chat, we're lagging. Thankfully now I think it's back on track. Okay. Oh yeah, they were lunatics. They would, oh my gosh. And then not only that, they would go to the 11 a.m. game after drinking on the quad for like 4 or maybe 5 hours, after having a 2-hour 5 a.m. practice. Go to the game, drink during the game, get hammered. Like, hammered by like noon. And then they would go to the bar after. Like, the game would end at like 3 p.m. and they would go to the bar till like late at night. I don't know how they did it. And they would do it every weekend. My friend group, they were boys, so, you know, boys will be boys. They would drink so much and so often. By so much, I mean so often, not like a ridiculous amount. They would also drink a ridiculous amount at times, but they, like, I swear, 99% of the time that we were hanging out, they had beer with them and they were drinking it. And they were casual drinkers and also would occasionally drink to get drunk. They were a lot more casual with it than I ever have been. And so we would have a hangout at one of their houses and like watch a game on the TV, and they would be drinking beer. We would have a hangout at one of their houses the next weekend. It would be a bye week, but guess what? We're still going there, and we're gonna play die the whole time, which is the game with die. We would play die, and we would play Pong, and then we would go to the bar, and they would be drinking. And then Wine Wednesday. We would have Wine Wednesday the next Wednesday, and we would go out for Wine Wednesday, which started at 7. I can't escape! It would start at 7 p.m. every Wednesday, and if you didn't get there early, I feel like it started at 6. It started at 6 or 7. I'm resisting. It would start at 6 or 7 p.m. every Wednesday at our favorite bar, and we would do that most Wednesdays. We would go to Wine Wednesday. And, I mean, you go to Wine Wednesday, you stay there till, like, past midnight, obviously, every time. And then the next weekend, there would be another football game. And be drinking again. And then some of them would go to date parties on Thursdays and Fridays. I mean, they were units, bro. They would put that beer away like nobody's dang business. And I would be there trying to stay caught up half the time. Only half the time, I would say. I wasn't there every single time, and I definitely wasn't drinking every single time, because also half the time it was day drinking or just casual drinking. I miss college. That friend group was so much fun. I recorded a voice memo one of my last days in college. It was like less than a week before I graduated, I think. It was like 3 or 4 days before. And I was just sobbing, crying in this voice memo. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. It was in the middle of the night at some point. And I couldn't sleep. And I was so anxious about graduating. And I was sobbing, crying on this voice memo. And I was like, oh, it's so sad, y'all. I've only listened back to it one time since I recorded it. And it, like, made me tear up. Because I'm literally crying. And I'm like, I don't want this life to end. Like, I don't know how it's going to get better after this. Because my first 2 years of college were absolute garbage. Like, I'll just be straight up with you. Even, like, into my 3rd year, it was bad. But my first 2 years were absolute, total, like, butt. Terrible, terrible years. Some of the hardest years of my life so far. And I had no friends. Actually, I had friends. Yeah, I had friends. And they were total jerks. Terrible to me. Didn't really care about me at all. I spent probably half of the days of the week crying every week. Like, just total breakdowns. Wanted to transfer. I almost dropped out at the end of my sophomore year. Like, I had put my apartment, because I had signed for an apartment complex for a 1-bedroom by myself, because my friends signed a lease for an apartment without me while I was out of town one weekend. Yeah, literally signed a lease for a 2-bedroom apartment without me a weekend that I was out of town. And I had no other friends. I had no one else to live with. Tried to find a 2-bedroom apartment with this other girl that I was, like, kind of close with, not really. And she ended up being an RA that next year, so I once again had no one to live with. Ended up having to sign a 1-bedroom apartment by myself. Did it kind of early, because in Tuscaloosa, I don't know if it's this way in most college towns, but at least in Tuscaloosa, if you don't sign your apartment early, they get sold out. So sometime in the first semester, sophomore year, I signed this 1-bedroom apartment lease for junior year. And then by the end of sophomore year, I was over it. I was done. By, like, March of sophomore year, I was like, I'm done. I'm done here. I don't want to come back here. I want to transfer or drop out, take a gap year, something. I don't care. I just want to leave. I want to be done. And I got so far into that idea that I put my 1-bedroom apartment up on Facebook in a group chat for people who were looking for apartments for that next year, and said, like, this is the apartment, like, here's all these pictures of it, it's like 700 square feet, you'll have it all to yourself, this far from campus, blah blah blah, all these amenities, all these good things about it, trying to get someone to take it from me so that I didn't have to go back junior year. Y'all, I was going to drop out. I was going to drop out or transfer. Also, I didn't really have a plan to transfer, because I did not ever apply to any schools sophomore year. I really didn't have a plan for that next year. I just didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't really care about my major. Like, obviously, I'm not doing interior design work now. I'm doing this, which I love so much more. And just wanted to be done. And put it up on this Facebook group chat or group page thing, whatever Facebook things are called, I don't know. And some girl, like, multiple people had reached out and told me that they wanted to take it. And then it got so far with this one person, this one girl, that was going to take it. And she had been, like, talking to her mom about it. And she had scheduled a tour there to go see it. And, like, whole 9 yards, was going to take this apartment. And then for some reason it ended up falling through. I can't remember why. And thank the Lord in heaven that it did. Because, oh my goodness, I cannot imagine what my life would be right now if I had dropped out that year. That is such a scary thing for me to think about. where would I be right now if I had dropped out? Would I have continued doing this? Would I have transferred to a different school? Would I have taken a gap year and gone back to Alabama? Would I have taken a gap year and gone somewhere else? Would I have never gone back to school? Would I be a bum right now? I don't know. Where would I be with, like, friends? Would I have any friends? Because thankfully junior year, when I went back, I finally made friends with the people on the rowing team, got close with them, started really enjoying Alabama because I had people to enjoy it with and to show me what there is to enjoy and to be around people that care about me and are good friends to me. If I had dropped out, I would have gone back to live with my parents. I don't know where I would be right now. Like, actually, it is crazy how that works. Crazy how the world works. I am so grateful that everything happened the way it did, even the hard things, because I ended up living by myself that next year. My best friend now, she ended up reaching out to me to hang out for the first time because she was a freshman at Alabama that year and didn't have any friends. And so we bonded and became super close. Now we're best friends, and I love her to death. And I made friends with the rowing team people, and now I'm here. Like, going back to Tuscaloosa on my own time once a month to go to a football game or to just be in Tuscaloosa and be able to, like, be in that environment again because I loved it so much. And I have friends there still that I miss and I love so much. It's crazy. Crazy how everything works out. So if you're going through a hard time right now, I guess this is some really good motivation to say, keep pushing. Be careful with the decisions you make. Because big decisions like that, and even sometimes small decisions, like my current best friend decided to reach out that one day and ask me to hang out for the first time ever, will literally change the trajectory of the rest of your life. Sorry, I'm going over bumps. Way to ruin the mood. No, it's crazy. Small and big decisions will affect and change the trajectory of the rest of your entire life, and sometimes to the same degree, because her deciding to reach out to me that day changed my life just as much as me deciding not to drop out of college. Crazy. Me deciding to join the rowing team changed my life just as much as me deciding not to drop out of college. I don't know, as some of the bigger decisions. I actually at one point quit the rowing team and went back because I didn't like it for a while because I wasn't close with the people on it. And then after I went back, thankfully, it was during sophomore year that I quit the rowing team for a little bit, which was my first year on the team. My whole sophomore year, I wasn't friends with them, really. I wasn't close with them. I just kind of, like, went to practice, went to the races, and that's it. And then junior year is when I actually started getting close with them. Anyways, that was not what I planned to talk about today, which I would have said after anything that I talked about today because I had no plan at all. I think I'm going to cut it here, unless there's something else I can conjure up. Oh, Harry Potter! Speaking of conjuring up, okay, wait, I do have more things. Okay, I am going to Universal next month. You know how last time that I did the driving simulator, I told you guys about my obsession with Universal? Yeah, well, me and my best friend that I've been talking about, we were trying to go to New York. We really have been wanting to go to New York for, like, years. And unfortunately right now is just not a good time to go to New York, I've learned. We actually were planning on going, and we were going to book the tickets and stuff, and then we were told by multiple people who didn't know each other and had no connection to each other whatsoever that right now is a terrible time to travel to New York because it's not very safe for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. I didn't really look into it, but I just thought it was kind of crazy that multiple people who don't talk or know each other in any way, shape, or form said the exact same thing, that New York is not safe to travel to right now. So we made the executive decision to not go to New York right now. And then I was like, why don't we just go to Universal? I have been like dying to go to Universal for years. Last time I went was 2021, summer of 2021. And I've only been twice in my life. I have literally been wanting to go ever since then. And we're trying to figure out somewhere to plan a good trip to, so why don't we just do it? And I get the Florida resident discount now, which is so cool and nice. So we decided to, and I bought the tickets, and I booked a hotel. And we are officially going. So be prepared for a vlog. I think I'm going to make a second channel. That's also another bomb to drop on you right now. I think I'm going to make a second channel because I've been thinking about it, and I want to make a vlog, a travel vlog for it. But I don't know if there's any good way to make a relaxing, like ASMR style travel vlog at Universal Studios. So, but I really want to make a vlog. I really want to share it with you people. And also, my vlogs on this page don't really get good views at all, which I don't care about. I don't make them for the views. I make them because I enjoy making them. But if I'm going to make them just because I enjoy making them, why not just make them regular and not have to worry about the ASMR part of it? So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to make a second page, a second YouTube channel, and post it on there so that we can speak without having to whisper, and I don't have to worry about taking videos at freaking a Universal Studios theme park with crazy roller coasters and people screaming and yelling and try to make it ASMR style. I'd rather just make it fun. And it'll probably get 0 views, and that's fine. I just want it for myself. So, yeah, be on the lookout for a second channel. Maybe I'll find a few other videos to throw on there before or after then. I mean, this podcast, honestly, should probably get moved over to that channel, too. I don't know if I will, because it's been on this channel for so long already. But I'm obviously not whispering. I obviously forget that it's supposed to be an ASMR vlog, and I don't talk soft-spoken at all. I just talk in my normal voice, and that's probably also why it gets no views. Because this is an ASMR channel, and I am advertising, I guess you could say, it as an ASMR podcast, but it's just not. I feel like it would be relevant to move it over to that page, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. And then, what was I going to say? Harry Potter. I started watching Harry Potter about a week ago, probably. Actually, first of all, I watched the whole Pirates of the Caribbean series. Incredible. Can't believe I had never seen that before. Jack Sparrow. I feel like I've mentioned this before, but that is my favorite type of character on this earth. Like, low-key bad guy, sarcastic and rude, but deep down has a heart and is funny and has really great character development. Jack Sparrow is my favorite type of character. Another prime example of my favorite type of character is Damon Salvatore. I hope some of you have freaking watched Vampire Diaries, because if you haven't, I'm gonna freak. Vampire Diaries is my freaking... It is so good. I'm starting to think that it might be my favorite show besides Game of Thrones. They're my favorite show in different ways. Like, Game of Thrones is my favorite show in the fact that it is such a cinematic masterpiece, aside from the eighth season. I'm still upset about the 8th season, and I'll probably stay upset about that forever unless they remake it, which I genuinely have no hope for. I do not think they're ever going to remake that, just by the way. If they did, though, that would be a dream come true for me and many other people. Did I just hear a train or a bell or something? I don't know what that was. So, Vampire Diaries, also favorite show, just because I enjoy watching it so much. I don't think it's the best show on the face of the planet. No, I don't think it is cinematically genius. Absolutely not. But the joy that I feel watching it, yeah, it's there. And it's the same way with Gossip Girl. And I tried to rewatch Gossip Girl. And I've been through this a few times. I watched Gossip Girl all the way through sometime in middle or high school. Early high school, probably. And then I tried to rewatch it sometime in high school or early college and only got a couple seasons in. And then I actually rewatched it all the way through a couple years ago. Really enjoyed it that time. And then a few weeks ago, I started rewatching it again, and I've only watched through some of season 1. I don't remember how many episodes are in a season, but I've watched through like 10 episodes of season 1, and then I just kind of stopped, and then I'll pick it back up later, probably. But I'm not super into it this go around. I probably should just try to get through season 1, but the other day, I put on Vampire Diaries, and now I'm rewatching Vampire Diaries for the 3rd time. I watched Vampire Diaries for the first time in high school, rewatched it 2 years ago now, right? It was my junior year of college, middle of junior year, so yeah, it was 2 years ago now, pretty much exactly 2 years ago. And then after that, I watched the originals for the first time, really enjoyed that. Didn't enjoy it as much as Vampire Diaries. Same deal as Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. Love Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon the whole time. I was just wishing that I was watching Game of Thrones, but also enjoyed it because it made me feel like Game of Thrones a little bit, but it still wasn't quite Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? It's that same feeling you get when you watch a sequel show. It's like, oh, I like this because I love this style, and it feels like the original, but it's not quite the original, and I miss the original. Oh my gosh, there's so much traffic up here. So, Vampire Diaries, I'm very excited to rewatch it again, especially since it's October. I just feel like this is prime time to rewatch it. And Damon freaking Salvatore is what makes it for me in that show. I would go so far to say that he is my favorite character in any TV series or movie series that I've watched. I really like the Game of Thrones characters. I really love their like character development over the seasons. I am so irked about how they ended everything. I'm not going to get into it because I will talk about it for forever, and I'll just say the same things that I've said before. I'm so freaking irked about it. I'm so bothered. I need to read the books because I think that would heal it in my heart a little bit. Not completely, but a little bit. These construction guys are going to watch me holding my microphone for the video. Hey guys, just recording a podcast here, no big deal. Driving with my knee. Yeah, Damon Salvatore, unmatched. He sucks in season 1, but after that, give me more. Give me more screen time, please. Give that man some more screen time. And the fact that him and Paul Wesley still do meet and greets with their fans, I think is so cool. The show ended, I think season 8 came out in 2018, so 7 years ago Vampire Diaries ended. I remember getting the notification. I literally remember the day that I got the notification that season 8 came out on my phone from the Netflix app. The day that season 8 of Vampire Diaries was put on Netflix, I remember getting that notification. Why are we stopping? I need more water, bro. My throat is so dry right now from yapping and drinking an entire coffee and not any of my water. Yeah, I'm so excited to rewatch it. I'm so excited. I never even finished talking about Harry Potter. Yeah, I'm watching Harry Potter. I've watched the first 3, and I'm like halfway through the 4th movie. And it's actually really good. I'm rewatching it, or I'm not rewatching it. I'm watching it for the first time ever because going to Universal in a month, and my best friend is a big Harry Potter fan, and I just felt like it was only right for me to watch it before I go back, especially since we're gonna go to Epic Universe. Sorry. I'm gonna go to Epic Universe for the first time ever because it opened this year. I'm so excited, and they have another Harry Potter world there, and I just felt like I needed to understand the lore because I've been to Universal twice. really enjoy Harry Potter World. The Harry Potter rides are my absolute favorite. And I was like, what? Like, I literally have the opportunity at my fingertips to make this experience 1,000 times better by actually watching Harry Potter. So I was like, I guess I'll do it. I think there's 8 movies, so I'm almost halfway through them. But yeah, had to tell you guys that. I think that's all. I feel like this episode's going to be a lot longer than I intended for it to be. Maybe, I think I'm only recorded like 50 minutes worth. I don't know. I actually have no idea. No, it's been more than that. I think I've recorded an entire hour maybe by now. I can't remember how long the other 2 videos were because I've had to cut it twice. Once because I dropped the F-bomb, and second because my directions weren't loading and I had no idea where I was and was about to get lost. Alright, that's all. So I'm very excited for this weekend. I'm very excited for next month. Watching Harry Potter, watched Pirates of the Caribbean, and rewatching Vampire Diaries right now. And I get to see Zach Top tonight, so life is good right now. Life is very good right now. And it's starting to get chilly outside. Let's go. Let's go. Cold weather, let's go. Temperate weather, let's effing go. I'm so excited. I love fall. Can't wait for Halloween. I gotta figure out my costume. And then Thanksgiving and then Christmas. I feel like I talked about this last time. I think Thanksgiving is slowly becoming my favorite holiday. I just love the vibe. It's not even necessarily the holiday itself. It's just like the vibes that surround fall and Thanksgiving time and Halloween time. I don't want to say Halloween is my favorite holiday though, because it's not about Halloween, and it's honestly not even about Thanksgiving either. It's just fall. So I guess fall's my favorite season, and then my technical favorite holiday day is Christmas, but my favorite season is fall. Anyways, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Do you care? Do you guys care? Alright, I have 30 minutes left. I'm starving. I'm gonna finish eating this muffin that I got from this bakery. I have a few bites left of that. And then I'm gonna have an hour to get ready before we have to drive to Brandon. Over 10 hours of driving a day. This is not fair. It's worth it. It's so worth it. Alright. Next time I see you guys, I will have seen Zach Top in person. Just know that. Just know that. The next time you see me on this podcast, my eyeballs will have seen Zach Top in person. And I got pit tickets. So there is a chance of connection. Physical connection. Not like, okay, well that makes it sound weird. Not like that. You know what I mean. Contact. Not that it matters. But that would be cool. I'm honestly just excited to see him. And my ears will have heard his music in person. That's what I'm most excited for. That was a state trooper. I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in to my podcast here. Thanks for listening to my rambling and yapping. I'll see you next week with a fresh set of eyes and ears from the Zach Top concert. See you later. Ain't that a do you wrong? Ain't that a bitter pill to take? Ain't that a stone cold country song? Yeah, ain't that a heartbreak? Bow, 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 bow. Y'all. Okay, well, I thought that the episode was over. That was 3 days ago. It is now Sunday, I don't know. I actually have no idea what the date is. These last 3 days have been the longest 3 days of my life. And I'm not going to try to sit here. I'm going to try not to sit here and talk for too long. I have 50 minutes left in this drive. And I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. These last 3 days, there's no way that I could not give an update, okay? So obviously Thursday, you guys saw me about probably 15 seconds ago. Obviously that was 3 days ago for me. Feels like literally a month ago. I don't know how these last 3 days have felt so long. I think it's because I've been up past 3 a.m. every single night for the last 3 days, and going, doing stuff nonstop the last 3 days. Last 3 days, right? Thursday through Saturday is what I'm talking about. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Thursday, drove to Tuscaloosa, drove to Mississippi for the Zach Top concert. I should not have gone to that concert because my obsession has become too much. It has officially become an obsession and not just an interest. I have not stopped listening to Zach Top since the concert, and that is very weird and out of character for me after a concert, because post-concert depression is real. I will tell you that. I've not been to many concerts compared to most people. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? I have not been to many concerts compared to people who are big concert goers. Like, I would not consider myself a huge concert goer just because of money, and also because of where I live and where I've always lived. I've never lived in a big city, like, predominantly. I've lived in big cities over the summer before, but never, like, actually, like, a resident in a big city. And so I've never been able to go to a ton of concerts, but I've gone to enough to know that post-concert depression is very real. Usually listening to the music of the people of the concert that I just went to, I can't do it. I have no interest in listening to it anymore because I leave the concert and I'm just like, dude. I just want to go back, and listening to the music makes me, like, I don't know, I just don't enjoy it the same way for the first, like, couple months after the concert, and then it'll get back to normal, you know. It happened with Billy, the first concert I went to. It happened with Billy last year when I went to her concert. It happened when I went to see Melanie Martinez. It happened when I went to see the Gorillaz, you know. But for some reason, this concert, I have not stopped thinking about Zach Top's music, and I have not stopped listening to it every opportunity that I have to listen to it. I kid you not, I listened to it on the way home from the concert. I had like a 3-hour drive back from the concert afterward. Longest day, one of the longest days ever, by the way, because I woke up at 5 a.m. Thursday, drove a total, or actually over 10 hours. It was more like 11 or 12 hours total that day. Where was I going with that? I was listening to his music all day long, and on the way back from the concert as well. Never have done that before. Never have wanted to do that before. Don't know why I did. Just wasn't over it. I was obviously I still had post-concert depression, but this is just a very different type of post-concert depression than I've ever had before. And then the day after was also another long day. Listened to his music all day. Well, I went out with my friends, and while I was getting ready, I was listening to Zach Top. And then yesterday, I went to the football game, listened to Zach Top while I was getting ready, and then also listened to Zach Top at a friend's apartment last night, hanging out. By the way, I didn't go to bed till 5:30 a.m. last night, if you can even consider that last night. I don't. It was this morning. I was up till 5:30 in the morning, didn't get home till 5, because we were there hanging out for so long, listening to Zach Top. And then for the last hour and a half that I've been driving, I've been listening to him. I went through all of my liked songs by Zach Top. Not all of them, but you know what I mean. I don't know what's going on here. Truly have never experienced this feeling. And every time I listen to the music, I still really enjoy it. I love listening to it. I honestly am enjoying listening to it more now than I even did before, which I didn't think was possible, because it has really good memories associated with it, and also just because I don't know. I don't really understand what's going on here. I can't really analyze it. I just kind of wanted to talk about it. You know? I'm lost. I don't understand what's going on here. It's very weird though, and I've never experienced it before. Yeah. And then aside from that, the concert was incredible. When I tell you guys, I mean, you guys have seen videos of, like, newer artists or even, like, artists that have been around for a while performing live, and they just sound like garbage. Like, they just do not sound like they do on the album. You can tell that there was a lot of, like, cuts and editing and work done on the album to make sure that they sounded so good. But it wasn't because they're actually really, really, really talented artists and singers. It's because they're decent singers, and then they just do a lot of work on the recordings to make them sound good, you know? And then you see them in person, and it's like, oh, I don't know why I've been struggling not to curse on here in this episode. Sorry, guys. But I almost just let another one drop. They're bad in person. No. Zach Top. Y'all, it was almost like they were just playing a recording over the speaker, but you could tell that they weren't because of, like, ad-libs he was doing, changing certain words, forgetting words here and there, or lines, or forgetting the words to the song, you know. He sounds exactly like he does on his albums, or on his records, according to him. He kept calling them records. It was so funny. He was like, I put out this record a couple of years ago. This is one from a record I put out a couple of years ago. He's got that, like, Reba McEntire Southern accent. You know what I'm talking about? That old Southern accent. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. And he was so talented, and watching him play the guitar was so cool. Just an incredibly talented person. I 100% recommend everybody to go see him in concert. Also, I will say the crowd was interesting. Sorry, my steering wheel's taking up the entire frame. Didn't even think about it. My bad, gang. I would recommend everyone to go see him. Just incredible. Very, very talented in so many ways. Oh, the crowd. The crowd was interesting. See, I've never been to a country concert, okay? I've been to Billie Eilish, which the crowd is, like, disrespectful, rude, pushy, selfish, loud. Like, just overall very disrespectful crowd to the fellow crowd members and also to the artist. Like, I will say I got very lucky when I saw her in Nashville last year for her Hit Me Hard and Soft tour. And if any of you know anything about her shows or have been to one or seen videos, she does this one part in the current tour that she's doing, and the one that I saw, where she'll do like I don't know what it's technically called, but she'll, like, record and then loop it and then record over it and then loop it and then record over it, like doing layers and harmonizing with herself. But she does it live, so the whole stadium has to be dead silent. I mean, it's 20,000 plus people. It's 20,000 or more people in this room. Crazy obsessed fans. And you are asking all of them to not drop a pin. Dead silent. So she can record this and loop it and record it and loop it and not have anything, you know, background noise coming in and looping with what she's recording. You see, you know what I'm saying? And I got very lucky in Nashville, and thankfully my crowd was respectful enough to not scream or do something loud during that part. Everyone was quiet, which was very, very refreshing, and I'm very thankful that I got to experience it in that way. I know there were certain shows where there were just disrespectful, crazy people who decided to yell out, like, "We love you, Billy," in the middle of it when it's dead silent in the room. Like, come on. When she's asking everyone to be quiet. Anyways, that's happened. And then there was a recent event in Miami where she every show on this tour, she does like a thing where she runs by the barricade in the pit and she'll like let everyone touch her hands and whatnot. And there was somebody that grabbed her and pulled her down and made her fall and hit the barricade, like hit the metal barricade. And it was a whole thing. He got kicked out, obviously. But my point is, the crowds there are crazy. Like, if you're in the pit, everybody is pushing and shoving. Everybody is pushing and shoving, and not because they're, like, dancing together or something, which they do, but I mean, like, everybody is selfish. Everybody wants to the front. Everybody wants the best video. Everybody wants the best view. And if you, like I did, camp out the night before, basically sit at this venue for 24 hours to get barricade and get the front, unfortunately, there are people who will show up 10 minutes before gates open, cut the line, and be pushy-shovey in the pit and shove their way up to the barricade with you and basically push you out of the way. And, like, I almost got knocked over multiple times. And then the crowd at Zach Top was, like, nobody was touching each other. Like, everyone was keeping, like, a 1 to 2 foot distance from people that they were not there with. Like, I got very lucky there, actually. Me and my friend got there 10 minutes before the gates opened, had pit tickets, and there just wasn't a very long line. We also went in a different way than like the majority of people did. Everybody was kind of sheep in this situation where there was one gate on one side that a ton of people were lined up at, so I guess everyone just assumed that they had to go in that one, and then there was one on the other side that nobody saw, and so we got front of the line there when there were people who were waiting like 3 hours at the other one. So we ended up getting barricade, luckily. And then there were people on barricade with us, and then like the people behind us were like a foot or two behind us. Like, they weren't like leaning over us, like putting their phones in front of our faces and pushing and shoving and trying to squeeze their way into the barricade and all kinds of things like that. So it was a very different type of experience. Also, there were people there that just didn't really seem to care that much that they were there. A lot of people, I would say a majority of the people in the pit were like just kind of standing there, not like even mouthing the words to the songs, not even smiling, nothing. Like there were people there just standing there like drinking beer like they were at like a bar on a Thursday night. And I was like, what are y'all doing in the pit? Y'all should be in the seats if you're gonna do that. I don't really get it. But it was nice. It was nice to not be around a bunch of selfish, like, rude people, and to just be in, like, a respectful crowd watching this artist. He's not very interactive with the crowd, I will say, which I'm indifferent about. I don't know. I think obviously it's a lot more enjoyable for the crowd when the artist is a lot more interactive, because it feels like you're experiencing it together. It doesn't feel like... I think one of the most special things about concerts is that at a concert, it feels like, especially if you get in the pit and you're like really close to the artist, it feels like you get like a connection with them in a sort of way, like you're experiencing this together. You're not watching a performance, you're enjoying this music that this person has created together, you know? And then there's also the shows where the artist, like, does not talk to the crowd at all. The stage is far away. And it feels like almost the same as watching a video of them perform, to me. It feels that way to me. If there is absolutely no interaction with the crowd, it does not feel the same whatsoever. And I think it is so much better, so much more fun, and such a more unique experience when they're more interactive with the crowd like that. Now, there were a couple times where he would, break from in between songs and talk a little bit. There was a Mariners game going, and he was like, y'all know I grew up in Washington, blah, blah, blah. Him and his Reba McEntire accent. Well, y'all know I grew up in Washington. I can't do it, but he was talking about the Mariners game, and he was like, we were down before I came out. Does anyone have the score? Basically. He didn't talk like that. I'm not good at the impressions. But he was silly. He just wasn't super interactive. There were just a couple times here and there where he would talk about the Mariners game or something random like that. He didn't really talk to anyone specifically in the crowd. He didn't really react to anybody doing or saying anything. Which there were some crazy freaking people there. There were these two girls. I'm not even going to talk that much about it because I'm just going to get mad. But they were acting absolutely insane. I just personally, if I was on the stage performing and I was like a man, or let's just say I'm me. I'm a girl up on the stage performing, and there are these two men in the crowd up on the front barricade, and they are screaming like madmen. Like they are being brutally hurt. I gotta be careful with my language on here. I don't know what YouTube cares about with like violence. But like they're literally screaming like somebody is going to die. These girls, I mean, fangirling, I don't really get it. Like, at some point, control yourself. Absolutely, I love Zach Top. And it is so cool to see him in person and not see him through a screen. And see him as a human being in front of me. But golly, I am not going to act like I have lost my marbles if I get the chance to interact with this person. I have this very unique opportunity to be in front of this person who has created such incredible work and is taking the time to get up on this stage and show me what they've created and to be able to experience it together in this concert setting. And my first impression, I mean, I'm not saying like I want to make an impression on him and I want him to remember me as a super cool, chill, mysterious person. No, I'm just saying, like, don't act like you're clinically insane. They're just a person, guys. They are literally a human being. And if in any other situation you were making a first impression on somebody and you acted like that just because you knew their name and had always wanted to meet them or see them in person, they're gonna run away. They're gonna walk away and think you're crazy and probably be scared. Because why are you so obsessed with me that you are literally screaming, squealing, and losing your mind 5 feet in front of me? It should not be normalized. I think it's a little crazy. I think it's a little insane that it's so normalized and that girls act like that. That makes me sound pick-me, but I promise I'm not being pick-me. It's just truly my opinion. I think it's crazy and unnecessary. I think that we have more self-control than that, especially as 20-something-year-old adults. Well, I'll give it to one of them. One of them was in high school. So I cut her a little slack. I get being excited. But there is a line to draw, in my opinion. But I don't know. It's normalized in concert culture. It's normalized in like celebrity culture to act like that, unfortunately. And so people just do. And I'm not even going to talk about the rest of my weekend because that was crazy. I hope y'all saw that Alabama-Tennessee game because what the heck? That was awesome. I ended up buying a ticket for freaking $400. My bank is hurting. I feel broke. And guess what? I don't regret it one little bit because that game was incredible. And the atmosphere in Bryant-Denny last night, unmatched. I just saw a video of somebody that lived 3 miles away from Bryant-Denny, and when what's-his-name got that interception, I can't remember who it was. Oh, I can like see his name in my head and I can't remember it. Anyways, one of our players got an interception and ran it all the way across the field. Interception essentially in Tennessee's end zone, like 5 yards up. Intercepted, ran all the way down the field. Incredible. And somebody that lived 3 miles away from there took a video, and you could hear the stadium and the people screaming. See, that's an environment that I understand, the screaming and yelling and getting excited like that, because everyone's doing it. And you're not doing it 5 feet in front of one singular person that is singing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a hater. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. But that was awesome. And if you didn't see that game, you missed out. On TV or in person. That was freaking awesome. Sorry to the Tennessee fans out there. Rocky chopped and unk. Unfortunately for you. So much fun. And I do not regret spending that money at all. My bank is just hurting a little bit. But it'll recover. And I'm really glad that I dropped the bag. Because I almost didn't. I wasn't going to buy a ticket. Because I was telling myself, I was like, okay, if they drop down to like $150 or less, I can justify buying one. And then they didn't. And I was like, screw it. I'm in Tuscaloosa. I'm going to go to the Bama game. So worth it. Incredible game. But yeah, apologies to my Tennessee fans. Really hate that, you had to endure that. But what did you expect? What did you expect? Come on. All right. Anything else? Anything else, guys? Oh, that's a bag of espresso, by the way. Got some espresso from my favorite local coffee shop in Tuscaloosa while I was there. And I did unfortunately realize that the SD card reader that I have only plugs into my iPad, not my phone. And I did not bring my iPad on this trip with me. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to upload this podcast on Monday, which is tomorrow, I'm realizing. But y'all, these last few days... So, Thursday I woke up at 5, got back home from the concert at 2 in the morning, and drove for 11 or 12 hours that day. Exhausting day. Saturday, I woke up like decently early for how late I went to bed, because I didn't go to bed till like 3:30. Like, I got home, showered, all that stuff. Fell asleep probably around 3:30. And then Saturday morning, I think I woke up at like 9. I woke up at 9 because I set an alarm because I was supposed to go to brunch with some friends, and then they ended up not going. And then I couldn't get back to sleep. So, slept for... No. What am I talking about? I did not wake up... Brunch was supposed to be Saturday. Okay, I'm getting my days mixed up. Sorry, guys. Hold on. And also, I've been recording way longer than I was planning to, so this episode is going to be long. It's fine. I've been cutting the episode short recently. I got to make up for it somewhere. Wednesday night, I went to bed at like 11. Yes, I went to bed around 11 Wednesday night. Because I knew I was going to have a super long day Thursday. Ended up not getting to bed as early as I wanted to go to bed at like 9 Wednesday night. I was up like packing and cleaning and working. I was up working, and then I packed Thursday morning. So I slept for 6 hours Wednesday night. Thursday night. What did I do Friday morning? I don't remember when I woke up Friday morning. I feel like I woke up early though. It was probably like 9 or 10. So I probably slept another 6 hours. Or 7. Sorry. No jokes. I woke up 6. I slept for 6 or 7 hours. Completely seriously. With no jokes. No pun intended. So 6 hours. And then Friday night... I was up also again till 3:30 at least. I know I was up till at least 3:30 Friday night. Maybe later. I want to say I was up till like 4 something Friday night. And then I got up at 9 Saturday. 'Cause Saturday I was supposed to go to brunch with friends at 10. Set my alarm for 9. Texted them. Ended up not going. Couldn't get back to sleep. So, another 6 hours. Maybe 5. Maybe even less. Maybe 5. If I feel like I went to bed at like 4 something Friday night. So, 6 hours. We'll say 5 hours. And then last night, I didn't get home till 5. Didn't get to sleep till 5:30 because one of my friends was very intoxicated and we had to make sure that she was okay. But it was still so much fun. Got back at like 5 a.m. And then woke up at freaking 11:30 today. So, another 6 hours. Which isn't that bad. I used to run on 6 hours of sleep every single night when I was still in college. Which wasn't that long ago. Because I would go to bed at 11. Just about every night. 10:30, 11. And then I had to get up at like 4:45 for practice every day. On the rowing team. Living back in the college days. It feels like I'm exhausted. I'm not made for this life anymore. I want to go back to the beach. Go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. Get up at 7. That's all. I'm going to stop now. This episode is going to be very long. I apologize. I do apologize. And I really hope I can find a way to get this audio off of this SD card to edit and upload this on Monday, which is tomorrow. We'll see. If I figure it out, you'll know on Monday. You'll know on Monday, team, or Tuesday. Sometimes I upload on Tuesday. All right, that is all for the last time. I'm gonna say that. That is all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I don't know why you people listen to this. No insult to you at all because I'm the one saying it. I'm the one saying all this stuff. But I really hope somebody finds joy in this. Or comfort. Or lack of boredom. I might be making you more bored listening to this. That's going to be all. I will see you very soon for another video. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Comment down below what your favorite part of the podcast was. Comment down below your favorite concert you've ever been to. Comment down below your opinions on Zach Top and Alabama football. And I will see you next time. That's it. Bye, guys.